Versailles in 1700. 700 rooms, thousands of mirrors, and no public toilet. Even princesses had to look for hidden corners behind curtains, because everything in this palace belonged to one person. The 357 mirrors of the Hall of Mirrors catch the first rays of sunlight, turning marble and gold into pure light. This is the center of the universe, into which Louis XIV poured a quarter of France's annual budget. But behind this glamorous facade hid a secret that no perfume could conceal. You could smell the approach of the richest palace in Europe, kilometers before you ever saw its golden gates. Welcome to the most luxurious palace in the world, where gold mixes with the stench of human excrement. This was no accident. It was a failure by design. Louis XIV did not build just a palace, but a golden mousetrap. He forced the entire high nobility to live at court in order to control their every move. The result? 10,000 people were crammed within the palace walls at the same time, from duchesses in diamonds to armies of servants and merchants. For this enormous mass of people, Louis conveniently forgot one small detail: sewage. In a world where marble was valued above hygiene, the concept of a private toilet simply did not exist. Versailles was gigantic. If nature called while you were in the Hall of Mirrors, the walk to the nearest chamber pot could take 15 to 20 minutes. Imagine that journey through crowded enfilades, wearing a corset crushing your lungs, and a multi-layered skirt weighing 10 kilograms. It was physically impossible. That is why those very corners behind curtains became the norm. Dark niches under staircases, inner courtyards, and spaces behind heavy velvet drapes turned into public latrines. Wooden parquet floors absorbed urine and excrement for decades. Duchess Liselotte of Orléans wrote in her letters that certain wings of the palace were impossible to enter without suppressing the urge to vomit. The stench of ammonia seeped even into the walls, and not even thousands of potted orange trees could overpower it. The true throne of the Sun King often looked less like a majestic chair and more like an elegant stool, upholstered in red velvet with golden studs. This was the chaise percée, a chair with a ceramic chamber pot inside. According to the royal grand lever etiquette, being present while the king relieved himself was considered the highest sign of trust and power. The closest courtiers, ministers, and princes of the blood stood nearby as the monarch sat on this chair. They discussed appointments, wars, and taxes, while Louis attended to his bodily needs. What we consider the height of disrespect today was then a symbol of closeness to a living god. The diaries of the king's physicians, Valotte and Fagon, meticulously recorded every movement of his bowels, because the monarch's health was a matter of state. But what came after? Instead of water, pieces of expensive linen were used. Water was considered dangerous. Sorbonne physicians taught that it opened the pores to poisonous miasmas. Due to this lack of hygiene, Louis XIV suffered for years from anal fistulas and painful ulcers. In 1686, he underwent a legendary operation to remove the fistula using a massive lancet, without anesthesia, under the observation of the entire court. The operation was so bloody that surgeon Charles-François Félix first practiced on dozens of prisoners, many of whom died before touching the king. Life for women at Versailles was a unique ordeal. No pads or tampons existed. Women wore multiple layers of linen fabric, fastened to the body with intricate belts. Since women did not wear undergarments, as we know them, considered the mark of courtesans, these constructions were unreliable. Imagine yourself at a ball, surrounded by thousands of candles dancing a minuet. You wear a corset compressing your ribs and a heavy skirt. Changing the fabric was a whole operation. requiring a servant's help and half an hour of undressing. For this reason, fabric often went unchanged for 10 to 12 hours, blood mixed with sweat beneath layers of velvet, and washing during the cycle was considered deadly dangerous. The smell coming from ladies' salons was so strong that aristocrats carried heavily perfumed handkerchiefs constantly near their noses. This was an era where outward glamour and inner filth existed in an unbearable symbiosis. Nutrition at Versailles only worsened the situation. Sugar was a symbol of enormous wealth, so aristocrats consumed it in incredible quantities. The result? Black, rotting teeth, already by the age of 20. In Versailles itself, a white smile was considered suspicious. King Louis XIV, due to constant inflammation and tooth decay, had all the teeth of his upper jaw removed. The operation was so crude that part of the king's palate was damaged. In their notes, the physicians recorded that when the king drank wine or ate soup, some of the liquid would escape through his nostril. Moreover, due to the absence of teeth, food was poorly digested, causing the monarch constant gas and diarrhea. The air in the royal chambers was so heavy that even courtiers accustomed to everything sometimes fainted. When the stench became critical, the entire court, thousands of people would pack their belongings and move to Fontainebleau, so that the servants could shovel Versailles clean of excrement and trash. Today, we perceive Versailles as a sterile museum. History has been deodorized. We see the gold, we see the symmetry of the gardens. But we do not feel the invisible companion that was alongside every courtier, filth. Versailles taught the world high fashion, perfumery, and etiquette. Not out of luxury, but as a way to mask biological chaos. It was a place of extremes, where culture reached its peak and hygiene fell into an abyss. People wore diamonds worth entire cities, while stepping over human excrement in the corridors. This makes history more human, reminding us that beneath every golden facade lies a true, sometimes very dirty reality. Write in the comments, which fact shocked you the most? Subscribe, and thank you for watching.